Good morning, everyone. My name is Zahra Billoo, and I'm with CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, and I'm not sure how to follow that. My first job was folding clothes at Mervyn's. Does anyone remember Mervyn's? Who was sad that it closed? My parents, I really wanted as a kid a food service job, which sounds odd to say out loud, especially if you know how hard food service jobs are, and my parents were not down with that. They were in pursuit of what we thought was the American dream, and they said, we came all the way to America, you can't work in food service. And so I worked at Mervyn's, and I folded clothes during the holiday season. I will say that I'm fortunate and also cognizant of the privilege that I had to work through college and to do it for extra money, not because I needed to pay my bills. But by the time I got to law school, I needed to work to pay my bills. And so as a product of California's public education system, I worked all the way through. And my favorite jobs, the ones that inform how I do my work today, were my times with the California Faculty Association, organizing professors and students to push back against tuition increases, and then with the Service Employees International Union, or SEIU as we know it, organizing home care workers and security guards, industries that are often not organized, but to recognize that we are more powerful when we work together. So, two things. One, thank you, Rebecca. I'm always excited to be on panels where I learn something new. And as a woman who goes to therapy, I did not know that that counted as being a woman with a disability. But you're right that it is definitely difficult to disclose. It's something that I've been doing for 2 years because how does one do this work over and over again and continue to show up and be full and be present and be whole without getting professional help? So thank you. Thank you for starting that conversation and for supporting those of us that are trying to figure out how to disclose and how to normalize that this is what we do to get help and be whole. That's the first thing. The second thing is really just a story. I shared in my introduction that I'm the daughter of immigrants who came to the United States in pursuit of the American dream. And though we were raised in a faith-based home where we knew that social justice was a part of our being, we didn't necessarily connect that to challenging the police, to challenging the war on drugs, or to questioning government. And so growing up, we watched Cops and Walker, Texas Ranger, and all of those other horrendous shows that glorified law enforcement, and didn't think that the war on drugs had anything to do with us as a South Asian immigrant family. Fast forward to 2010, and a young Arab-American man walks into my office, and I'm a new lawyer at the time, and he says, I found a GPS tracking device on my car. I was like, that sounds like a television show. What are you talking about? He says, I took my car in for an oil change, and we happened to look under it, not something I've ever done. And we found a device, and it was bigger than the iPhone 6. And we found a battery pack with it, and we took it off, and we didn't know what it was. And so we took a picture of it, and we posted it online. And the other tech geeks online helped us figure out through the tracking number on it, or the serial number on it, that it's a tracking device. And 2 days later, the FBI showed up at his door and asked for it back. I kid you not. And I wouldn't believe it if we didn't have the Freedom of Information Act documents to prove it, and had we not sued them to learn more. But along the way, what I learned as a daughter of immigrants was that this was not the first time this had happened. It had been happening to Black and Latino communities for decades. Our lawsuit was not even the first lawsuit. There were existing lawsuits. It took the Supreme Court well over 10 years to say to a Black man on the East Coast who had similarly found a device on his car, that's a violation of your Fourth Amendment rights. And by the time they decided that, law enforcement was no longer using devices that big. They were just getting the information directly from the tech companies. And I share this story because for me it was a turning point in recognizing that it's one thing to talk about intersectionality, but it's another thing to care about an issue that doesn't seem like it impacts me in the moment. I'd like to say that we should all come to this selflessly because it's the correct thing to do. But there's also a selfish reason to do it. If we don't stop them when they come for our brothers, sisters, siblings, cousins, friends, co-panelists, and neighbors, they will come for us in the same exact way.